Hey guys, as most of you know by now, 731 went live yesterday, and as the time of me making this video, no little damage increases or little nerfs or buffs have happened since that point of me recording this video. But I figured, and I don't really normally do these kind of videos because, you know, tips or tricks or thoughts or insights or theorizing or rehashing stuff, I rarely do them or want to do them because as a self-assessment, I'm not that great at the game. I'm not even that great at Techies. I just have good ideas that, you know, most of you guys out there put into better practice than I do. I just seem to come up with interesting ways, or the ways I feel like somebody with more skill would, you know, kind of take those little insights away and improve on them or just do them better. That's just my fair assessment of myself. A lot of you people out there say that I'm this and that. I'm like, I hear it, I kind of like let it go under the bridge. I'm like, I'm just an ideas guy. Now, I'm gonna start this off with a hot take. I like the new Techies. I do agree with some of the sentiment out there that Techies is a completely different hero. But to be perfectly honest, the change had to happen. Let's just pull a random statistic out of my butt here and say, you know, 1 out of 10 Dota players play and love Techies, right? In that same aspect, almost 1 out of 10 players that play Techies don't play Techies all that well. To the point where, to the 9 out of the 10 people that don't play Techies, you're either pissing them off when you're on their team, or you're pissing them off when you're versing them because you might actually be good. Now, for Valve, IceFrog, whoever went over these changes, decided to change Techies so much to the point where he is now a team-based hero. You get 0 benefit of AFK planting or mining up or having your own fun. This had to happen. I'm sorry to say, this had to happen. I mean, Dota 1, Dota 2 has been around for a very long time, and I'll be honest, I was getting very bored. There had to be a change. There's a lot of stigma around Techies itself. I kind of negate a lot of the stigma towards myself just because of this little pretty badge up here. I'm going to be honest, Dota Plus is probably like the best thing that ever happened. I don't get ranged at like anywhere near the amount that you guys do. I've got a 10k behavior score. I rarely get reported because I do one of the magical things that every Techies should do. And this is it, okay? This is the #1 rule of Techies, alright? Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to the other team, because the moment you say something in all talk, you get reported. Like, if you don't say a word to the enemy team and they report you for communication abuse or whatever, it's a wasted report. But the moment you put something there, it counts as a report. Eventually, you're going to get either muted, you're going to go to low priority. And you know what? Let's put it this way, okay? You get muted. You get muted. Your teammates get pissed at you because you can't communicate with them. Then they report you. And then the reports stack up and you're suddenly in low priority. That's my view on it. That's the #1. If anyone ever asks for like tips on how to play Techies, the #1 rule for me is always shut the fuck up. Just, if none of you guys are adhering to that, but you're complaining about reports, don't complain about reports because you probably deserve them. Anyways, this update had to happen. So, I'm going to quickly go over the hero. Not that like many of you haven't. Oh, shake this circle. So what have we got? We got Sticky Bomb. Now, a lot of people are upset that, you know, proximity mines are gone. I understand. Look, I understand a lot of people not liking the new Techies. I get it. I totally get everything that you guys are saying. But this had to happen. Yes, he is far more team fighty. Let's go. And that's going to suit a lot of people. A lot of people are going to play Techies more. A lot of people aren't going to play Techies at all. A lot of people are going to, you know, I have to call it out, cry, whinge, and moan, and quit Dota, blah, 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 but I remember the outrage that happened when the first rework happened 4 years ago, when, you know, suicide was taken away and blast off became a thing and all that kind of stuff, and then, you know, you couldn't plant mines in a certain vicinity. I remember that. The amount of people on the first video I made that were like, I can't play Techies, I can't kill it anymore, they've ruined Techies, I'm quitting DotA.
We're going!
And I'm very certain that I got the world first ancient one-shot because I did that. I was in the middle of a game when they were updating the game. I was in the middle of the pre-patch when they updated to that, and my next game, the first game, it was an ancient one-shot. And I uploaded that within about 10 minutes of me actually finishing that game. The amount of people that complained they couldn't kill anything, the amount of people that said they didn't know how to play Techies and all that kind of stuff, and then after like a few days, the same people, because obviously I've got chat history, started saying, oh, so that's how you play them. I get it now. Okay. And I will still stand by the fact that first rework, Techies was better than never been. Because, you know, there was just a bit more team fight in it. You pissed your teammates off a little bit less. Because that's the whole stigma behind Techies. There's a lot of people out there that play for fun, play for their own fun, they play for their enjoyment, but they don't understand that in the same breath, you're probably pissing off your teammates, especially the people that want to play for fun, play for their own fun in ranked. That's not fair on the people, the 4 other people in your team that are there to win. Let's be honest. It's not fair for them, okay? I play Techies for my own fun. I play Techies as most of my job. But I also play to win. I play not to piss off my teammates, which is why you don't see me running down fucking mid and playing Techies mid and everything. Because the first point of playing Techies is to very much take a bit of a back seat and not piss off your teammates. Do everything right. Buy your wards. Try not to kill still. Don't be a smartass. Yada, yada, yada. At times, your teammates are gonna be like, oh, he's picked Techies, blah, blah. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable because they've got PTSD at that point.
You sure?
Quit arguing.
The number one thing is don't piss them off. So that change had to happen. Now, this change here is a result of basically what I was talking about of not pissing off your teammates worsening. Techies has and was and still up to the pre-patch. A lot of people were playing him. And it's not in my own jurisdiction to say you're playing him wrong, but a lot of people are playing them to the point where people didn't want them around in their team. Like, Techies is probably the most reported hero in the entire history of DotA. Just purely because while they are technically good, you can technically make them work all the time pretty much. By like extending games so your teammates suddenly learn how to play DotA in like the 30 minutes extra that you've extended the game by. People are playing them wrong and pissing people off. As much of a Techies purist I am, to the point where when I say Techies purist, a nerf happened, a buff happened, I didn't care. I played it. I rolled with it. I rolled with the punches. I stayed at it. I'm not the best player out there. I'm going to reiterate that now. I'm not the best player out there. But I stuck with it, made it work for me. Gave examples, just view via gameplay so other people can follow it and so that they can also have success in their games. The goal wasn't to give you guys tips or pointers, it's just there for your entertainment. If you guys learn something through them, I'm glad. But this change had to happen. You're now more of a team fighter. You're not going to kill as much. I totally get all the disagreement out there. You're not going to kill nearly as much. You're definitely less impact in terms of you're not going to be able to one-shot a 6-slotted carry like late in the game. But after a bunch of games, I did find that it still is pretty impactful. It just takes a certain different... Like, I mean, up until this point, most Techies players haven't been playing DotA. You've been like over here in the jungle going, pretty much, and then you wait for about 10 minutes until a team fight happens. Now you've got to be in the fight. So like normally you would what? You would pop your W now, you would jump in, you would place a mine, you would throw this bomb. By that point you place another 2 mines, and then you're probably going to get out. and then start throwing a bunch more sticky bombs. That's basically your job now. That is, you're an initiator, you're a team fighter. That is your job. Before it was, you place mines all over the place and, you know, I mean, as fun as it was, I'm gonna admit, yes, it was fun doing all that shit, placing green mines, placing this, that, watching shit blow up, having people just getting like, okay, I was off in the middle of nowhere and I died. Fuck you, techies. Yes, it was fun. But deep down, you know it's wrong. Deep down, you know no hero should have that. But you just have to play differently now. I know a bit like there's a lot more actions now. Like that amount of action right there. This whole combo, this whole jump, bam, mine, sticky bomb, mine, run away, the sticky bomb. That already is more APM. And I was saying APM like you're like a Korean playing StarCraft. That is already more APM than you would probably be doing in about 10 minutes of Techies play pre-patch. In that one moment there. And that's not even having like a 4-staff on your bar and freaking boots of bearing and a Ethereal Blade and a Dagon if you want to get all technical and start putting on items and everything. But your role has changed. If you're going to keep playing DotA, great. If you're new to Techies because of the update, welcome. But your role has changed. You can't play Techies like you used to. You would obviously still place, you know, these mines as much as you can around everywhere. And done. You know, that's still your goal. That's, you know, these are early warning systems, and if you play it well enough, if you play this well enough, and you know, set up like a good set of stuff around somewhere, and someone's coming towards you, you can still push them into those 1-second activation mines. Keeping in mind, once you get down to here, and these mines detonate within 0.2 seconds, they're not getting away. Unless they've got an Aeon disc or whatever, they're not getting away. You can still have your fun. It's limited fun. You can still have your fun. Again, though, I understand people's disagreements that, oh no, it's not like Techies anymore. It's true. But this is what you've got now. Now, in terms of starting items, I've kind of, I screwed around with like, you know, arcane boots and all that kind of stuff to start off with.
You sure?
And I kind of got to the point where like, I'm still using blast off a lot of the time because it's my main damage ability. So I still start with Tranks. I didn't really need Soul Ring because by the time that I needed to really start using mana in a fight like constantly, then I'd have by that point probably my 4-staff. And I'll update this guide at some point later on in the track. I'm just busy right now screwing out my garden and stuff like that because, you know, whatever. There's only 4-staff. Then it's obviously Shard. Buying the books in between if your position 5 or position 4 allows you to. And then it's a bit of a toss-up. It depends on what you need at that point. I've started returning back to buying Aether Lens. And the debate here now is Scepter good, right? Now, it's situational. It depends on who you're versing, because Taser is actually pretty damn good. So, you know, you activate it, and during this time, if you get touched, they get disarmed. And then when it blows up, everything in the area gets disarmed, right? So it's not a bad ability, especially if you're timing it properly and you're waiting a few seconds before you blast in. So as you blast in, the blast off does the stun, the damage, the silence, and then a disarm. I'm not sure how much is a disarm and explosion. I mean, it's still 3 seconds, so there's going to be like a, what? They're going to have like 1.3 seconds or whatever of disarm or whatever, right? But that's also there for anyone that walks into it, so... The Scepter is technically good, depending on the team you're up against. And it's also like a little tiny bit of damage, right? It's also a tiny bit more of damage. Like, you know, like a... yeah, see, so it does 300 damage when it explodes if you have the Scepter. The main thing is you can put it on your cores, or you can put it on anybody that's running away because they get a speed boost. So it's not bad, to be perfectly honest. Like, I still like getting Scepter, but depending on how the game goes, you don't really need it, per se. Octarine cores is definitely, for me anyway, is definitely a must. And I believe someone told me that what do you call it, item stacking is back. So if you can pick yourself up a quickening charm or a pop up here, there we go, a quickening charm or a spell prism, there's a diminishing return on it, but still not too bad. You know, a thing is a thing, right? So you can still do that, so that brings everything down. Now this is where your own personal opinion comes to play. This is where your own personal ability comes to play. Now, things like Ethereal Blade is apparently a pretty good item to get. This will increase the damage of your, the damage received by your proximity mines, which a lot of people are complaining about. So it really depends now, like, if you're doing whatever. So we just spawned a damn enemy here. Hello.
Let's go.
Let's put you over here. So one thing I've always wanted to know, because I want to see if you can do this. So you have to do it beforehand, obviously.
What was that?
I didn't see anything.
So I probably wouldn't do that beforehand because you're going to give everything away.
Good
So
plan.
you would
Is blunted.
let's just spawn a bunch of them like that. You'd obviously target the one that's important, right? So you'd do your W, double tap W because you got Scepter, jump in, Ethereal, pull down a bunch of mines, and do whatever. So Ethereal is going to help you if you, quick-witted, know what you're doing, have something in plan, and it'll more than likely help you solo those, those 6 slotted heroes that you guys want to solo. Because look, you jump in, they're going to be stunned. You shut that down, they're not going to be able to do much. Things are going to die, right? Things will die. You just have to play a bit differently. The game is requiring you now to possibly get a repetitive strain injury in your wrist. That's what I've noticed. Because you're now playing DotA. Techies players, if you choose to stick around or you're new, you're now playing DotA. You're not just wanking it around in the bush going, mine's everywhere, they're gonna die. You're playing DotA now. You're actually pressing more than 2 keys every minute or some shit, okay? And then for your last item, it's really up to you. I mean, I'm ready to take, what's it called? Suggestions on this. But in the end, I guess it depends on whether or not you're going to go down the 252 damage path or you're going to go down the 0.8. As you can see, the 0.8 activation is pretty damn good. Right? And it's not too hard to get to 25 as long as you're playing your teammates. So if you're playing your teammates, there's no reason why you're not in the thick of it, constantly getting things, because you're no longer wanking around in the bush again like I told you before.
That worked.
You're playing aggressive. You're going to be with your teammates all the time. You're going to actively getting experience as long as you know how to get out of a team fight or whatever. Because that argument, oh yeah, good luck getting to 25. You'll get to 25 if you're playing semi-correctly, okay? Don't just try to fill up your entire neutral area of cams with like 2,000 red mines just to spite Valve or whatever. But that's pretty much it for me. I mean, in terms of how I would level up my tree, people are gonna ask, I would go proximity mines, blast off damage, 15 seconds blast off cooldown, 0.8 proximity mines. That's how I would personally do it. And then I would more than likely play this kind of build. I think that Nullstone there is stupid. It depends on what the 6th item is. Like, I really don't know. Like, I've been kind of fooling around a little bit with the ideology of going back to Dagon because you're using Ethereal Blade anyway. Or obviously you go your Hex. Like, it's either one or two. Like, this build could change. But I did screw around with the arcane boots for a bit. I just kind of felt like, I've kind of got enough mana. Because you're not actively always placing mines, you're not actively always placing green mines, so you're not having to go back and forth, get up clarity potions, or needing to build, Yule scepters and all that kind of shit, because the mines explode so quick anyway. People have no idea what they're doing. Like, they hear the bling and they're like, what the hell, boom, and done. They can't, whatever. Now, because I know it's going to be brought up, what would I like to see changed? Because I do believe that, yes, Techies has early game impact, has mid game impact. End game impact, you are there if you play it correctly, but it's not huge, and it does feel a little bit weak. When it comes to sticky bombs, I probably would definitely upgrade the beginning damage, because I think what the sticky bomb does like about as much damage as 2 potato shots now, seeing as your auto attacks have been increased. I don't know if many of you noticed that, but you're not shooting potatoes anymore, you're shooting melons. I've noticed people's health going down. I'm like, whoa. The enemy supports are getting pissed off because half the health's gone after about 6 shots, and it's pretty good. So I would definitely increase the damage of the sticky bomb. Probably a bit by bit, because, you know, it is a skill shot. You just gotta lead it a bit. Unfortunately, you're gonna miss these now and then. But it's a good ability. It's definitely a good ability. It's good for throwing into trees. They can destroy trees. You know, you see a cheeky little monkey king, you get that little prick out of the tree. They do destroy it. If you know someone's going somewhere, you can really screw them over. I actually like this ability a lot. I like this ability a lot. I would only want them to increase the damage. Now, when it comes to Ags, like when it comes to like the Ags thing, so the Ags is it gives the ability to cast on allies and also increases the damage, gives a 300 detonation damage, right? I would also like them to include, once it explodes, that little AoE thing here, when it blows up, eventually. I would like that to root people. It's a bit suggestive. But I would like that to work like the old stasis trap as well. Because, you know what? That would make people happy. And I don't think it's outrageous to have that ability after it takes so long to go off to actually root something. That's the change I would make to it. I would include that in the Ags. The Shard and the Blast Off, I called it. Blast Off was going to stay because it's a good ability. It's better now because you're doing less damage to yourself, and if you have magic resist, you barely do any damage to yourself. That's with the talent on.
Excellent.
You know, that's with the talent on. If you get yourself, like, I mean, if for some reason you're like, you know, a real team player, right? And you get yourself a Pipe of Insight, right? You jump this time, it does a bit less, right? And then we refresh. You activate that before you jump in on your teammates. You jump in, you're taking nothing, basically. So, the ideology that Techies is so bad now because you can't deny yourself, I can see the drawbacks of that. I can understand people's gripes with it. Like I said, I'm going to play both sides of the fence here. I can understand why. I mean, you've had something taken away from you that you've been using for so long. No one likes change, right? No one likes an enjoyable piece of change. But you're stuck with this now. You deal with it, you don't deal with it. And hey, they might even change it in the very, very, very near future, like the next couple of days, where you can deny yourself again. Because, let's be honest, when Valve makes these patches, they don't play test them. They have a whole board of people out there to play test this shit, but they don't give it to the playtest to get their input. Like, oh, I think you nerfed this a bit too hard. Oh, I think you probably took this out for the wrong reason. I don't know why you did that. They don't do that. They let the public outroar do it. So, you know, like Primal Beast at the moment, he's kind of broken, and now he's getting adjusted. It's the same with every new hero that comes out. So I reckon in the next week or so, Sticky Bomb will probably be screwed around with. There'll be more damage. Taser, I'm hoping they add a stasis trap type of thing to it, but that one I'm not too hopeful of. I don't think they will, but that's what I would like to happen. Blast Off I think is in a good space. I wouldn't do anything to it, to be honest. I mean, I think they nerfed the range of the Blast Off, but let's be honest, you're going to be near the fight anyway. There's no reason why you need to be turned into like an ICBM and being launched from the fountain to the mid lane. You know, you're going to be in the area anyway. It's whatever. Now, the big topic will be this. The proximity mines. So, as some of you remember with the old remote mines, there was like glancing damage and then there was like on damage. So if you're like in the middle when it blew up, you took heaps of damage, right? And if you're off to the side, you didn't take as much, yeah? That's the case with the red mines, which is really shit. Especially when you get this a bit, when you get the 0.8, because people are always going to be taking that tiny bit of damage, like that edge damage, right? That edge damage is sad, especially when like someone's running in. They should be taking full damage, especially if you're sceptered up and you're sharded up. I would like to see them, if you get shard or ags, like it'd probably be like another thing to add to it. I don't want it to be a talent tree thingy thing where people take full damage, because that'd be really crap. If you're sharded up or if you're staffed up, you know, sceptered up, I think the entire explosive thing should be 100% if they're walking into it. Because, I mean, the whole ideology is, you know, you're meant to jump in and place one right with their butt, right? So they're taking full damage anyway, yeah? But I feel as though if you are sceptered up, if you are sharded, you should be taking full, even if you are on the edge, because it just seems right. I mean, you have taken away remote mines, you have taken away a lot of people's fun. Okay, I'm on your side. Believe it or not, I'm on your side, but this is what we have now. You have to roll with it. Okay, if you're a Techies purist, if you're gonna keep playing, you gotta roll with it. I believe they should give back the full circle damage. And for anyone out there that played Techies a lot of the time, when proximity mines were a thing, which was only, you know, yesterday,
This is gonna be fun.
and someone running and activating a mine then somehow managing to waddle out of that circle and not take any damage with the mine blow up, and that pissed off everybody. This is a good trade-off because they can't escape anymore. But for an ultimate, it's very underwhelming when they run into, like, you know, a pack like from this direction and they only take it 50% less damage or something. Yeah, so it's just,
You sure?
that is one change I'd like. So I'm on your side on a lot of people's gripes inside when it comes to things, and I agree. So if you're sharded or scepted and you go on the edge, eat the fall, because it's an ultimate, damn it. But at the same time, it really is. I think their whole ideology, their main thing is they want Techies to work for their kills now. All right, so the main idea is jump in, mine, sticky bomb, mine, and Bob's your uncle. Okay.
Huh?
What?
I can understand. Said it a million times right in this video. I can understand people's gripes, not wanting to play Techies anymore, Techies being boring, or
Really boring.
thanks Techies. The one thing that made my mind boggle, and this kind of proves my point about how people would piss off their teammates. The reason why they don't want to play Techies anymore is because it's a team hero. And that just boggles my mind, hearing someone complain about a hero being a team player. That's a personal issue. That right there is a personal issue, a very first world problem. You should always be a team player. Techies pre-patch, I tried my very best to be a team player, even though people deemed it not to be a team player. You should be there with your team. You should be. There are times when you should ignore your team, like how a Nature's Prophet will ignore his entire team getting slapped while he goes and rats a tower. There are times when you should ignore your team. But when you can, if you can, jumping in, like, you know, having the balls to jump into, like, oh god, there's 4 dudes coming, and 2 of my guys, you just don't hesitate, you just do it. You have to be a team player. And unfortunately, yes, this entire patch with Techies is you are now a team hero. You are probably going to die a lot more than you did before. You're not going to kill as much as you did before, unless you get crafty. But yes, the dynamic has changed. Now, like I said before, I'm not great at this game. I never make these videos because I don't deem myself to be very great at the game. I just have ideas. I'm able to analyze things and come up with ideas, and then it's up to everybody else if they want to take what I say on board or what I do on board and do it better. Because, you know, I'm an old man now, man. I'm past my prime, blah blah blah, excuses this, excuses that, but you know, I enjoyed this. I as much as the community sometimes pisses me off, I enjoy the game. I enjoy Techies. And yes, I am on pro Techies post patch. I like the Techies now. I feel like it's evolved enough to still, for me, feel like Techies, but get me more involved in the game with a lot less pain. And I can see a lot of people not playing Techies as much, but I can also see a lot of people that wanted to play Techies before but didn't want the stigma to start playing again. So I welcome those people to come along and start, but you have to understand that yes, the game is different. If you are leaving playing DotA, if you are leaving playing Techies, sorry to see you go, but really it's all up to you. I feel as though if you give it more of a chance, you might feel a bit differently. I might be wrong, but essentially, yes, the game has changed. I believe this change has had to happen to this. Just take it easy. Think about it. Sleep on it before you quit. If you guys have any other little, what do you call it? If you have any little suggestions or things that you have found successful while playing this new patch so far, let me know in the comments below. I wouldn't mind taking on a little bit on board as well, just to know like what people are doing differently, how people think it can change, what's worked for them, what doesn't work for them. Who knows, even your fellow man in the comments could probably help you out a little bit before I even get to your question or whatever, or just, you know, help me, help you, help everyone else. The main point of this video, which is something I, like I said, never do because I'm just an ideas guy. I'm not a self-proclaimed guru. I've never ever been like, I'm the best techies in the world, because I'm clearly not. I'm nowhere near that. I'm not even close to a decent or good. I just have ideas. That's it. I like to think that I've influenced the meta in some way for other people to basically, you know, take on a bit on board. You know, like, I know it's happened a few times with a few pros here and there where they've taken on what I've bought and just built on top of that, or either just succumb totally, like, okay, the idiot in legend is right, or the idiot in ancient is right, or whatever. And you know, that's probably a good thing to, you know, have a bit of humble pie. But I'm just an ideas guy. I'm just having fun, but I try to win my games to the best of my ability. And hopefully, going forward, anyone that does play Techies tries to do the same as well, because I can't see you playing the same way that you did before and getting the same result. So you either play to win now, or I guess you just leave it behind. Again, if you guys have any other little questions or little suggestions or anything, just leave in the comments below. You guys take it easy. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Back off! Thank you.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
No! My monkey.